Hi everyone, welcome to Upwarming. This is a new part of the Home Choir channel which sits alongside the Quarantine Choir, and this is a slightly quieter area. It's not quite as noisy, not quite as vibrant, but this is where you're going to get all of those lovely relaxation exercises and breathing exercises that's going to help us all stay good and fit and strong while we're all in lockdown. So what I'm going to invite you to do first of all is make sure that you've got a good 5-10 minutes to focus on this video. So if you need to pause me and go off and just make sure you haven't left the kettle on, or you're not expecting anybody to come and knock on your door, and then you can get yourself into a position where we can start. Okay, we've all done that? Fantastic. So if I can invite you, if you're able to, join me please in standing up. If standing's not on the menu today, that's of course fine. Stay exactly as you are, but if you could manage as you're sitting to give yourself a straight back and a long neck, and in fact you can even manage that if you're lying down. You don't need to look at me, just listen to my voice and follow all my instructions. That'd be fantastic. So however we are today, if we can just make sure we've got that straight back and a long neck. And what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, is we're just going to breathe. I'm not going to ask you to do any kind of special breathing, any special tricks. I just want you to get some air into your lungs. So could you take a nice deep breath for me? Fantastic. And then blow it out. Lovely. Another deep breath. And blow. And one more lovely deep breath. And blow. Fantastic. Now just breathe normally for me for a moment while I ask you to think about how you're feeling. And if you have any kind of symptoms of a cold, then you might be feeling a bit chesty, you might have a bit of a cough. So I'll just invite you to just bear in mind that coughing is going to abrade your throat, it's going to cause soreness and dryness in your throat. So the first thing you absolutely have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to stay hydrated, and particularly water. Water, the ultimate drink, the ultimate sports drink. I used to think when I was growing up that alcohol was an adult's drink, and now that I'm in my 40s, I realise that water is the truly grown-up drink. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water. That just keeps your system fully hydrated, and of course your throat will really benefit from that. If you have a cough, keeping yourself hydrated will just help keep all of those mucuses and fluids and so on a little bit less viscous and so on. And the other bit of advice I've got for you is, rather than clearing your throat with this, if you can try, whenever you can, don't be too hard on yourself if you don't manage this every time, but far better than an abrasive cough is a hard swallow and a sip of water. So if you find yourself with that sort of slightly clogged throat first thing in the morning, try and avoid that sort of thing. Try instead a hard swallow. You'll feel your vocal cords clear. It's like wringing out a flannel or something, and then follow that up with a nice drink of water. Okay, so we're standing, we've got our backs nice and straight, we've got our necks nice and long, or if we're sitting, we're also in that position. And what I'm going to ask you to do now, ladies and gents, is just to start to take some slightly deeper breaths. And if you've been singing with me at all in the past, you know what kind of breathing I'm after. And you can just get on with that while I explain to those of us who are new and haven't done this before. And those of you who know how to breathe from here, as I like to say, you can enjoy a kind of smug feeling of superiority to everybody else who's still learning. So if breathing for singing is a new idea for you, let me quickly just run through what we're talking about here. If I ask people to take a breath for me, and I've never worked with them before, and usually if they're in a group, I say, take a breath, and everybody goes like this. Gets their shoulders up. And that creates a huge amount of tension in their voices, and you can hear that in my voice. If I relax, you can hear already my voice is substantially deeper, substantially more relaxed. Now ideally what we should do, if you think about this logically, ladies and gentlemen, if we're taking air into a confined space, that is to say into our ribcage, into our lungs, what should happen if you put air into a confined space? Of course it should expand. But we've learned as a species, I think just by watching our parents, we've learned to breathe in a different way. If I just turn to the side, this whole business of breathing like this, and the tummy comes in as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, it all comes down again. And the problem with that, I'm sure you can see, it doesn't make sense. It's the exact inverse of how we should be breathing. What we should be aiming to do instead is to keep all this lovely and relaxed, to relax our abdomen, open our mouth nice and tall. Notice not wide. I don't want this, I want that instead. So if we can make sure we're making our mouth nice and tall, our neck is straight, our back is straight, and our tummies are relaxed, we can breathe like this. Now, as I've said on the Quarantine Choir channel during a warm-up, this does rely on being able to stick your belly out. And I know that nobody likes to stick their belly out. Okay, I don't particularly like sticking my belly out, but here I am in front of all of you doing exactly that. So if I can do that in front of several hundred people, you can do that at home. So can I ask you to relax your tummy muscles? And then there may be, particularly if this is new for you, there may be a kind of an unlocking, a sort of jolt as you do that. That's all part of the process. Okay, so in this video, as we're learning to take these deep singing breaths, I'm going to ask you to practice a particular routine, okay? And I don't want you to overthink this. I do work with singers sometimes when they learn this technique and I see them get frustrated. Oh, that's not a good enough breath. As far as I'm concerned, the only bad breath is the one that never repeats. So as long as you're breathing, you're not doing anything wrong. It's always the next breath, or the next breath, or the next one, okay? But the routine, if I can ask you to have a go at this, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do when you do this perfect golden breath that we're after is to make your mouth nice and tall, like this. And can I invite you, if you have a mirror nearby, to please copy me in the mirror, all right? If you can see you see your reflection in the screen, whatever you're looking at, just make sure your mouth is opening nice and tall, like this. Okay? And as I've said before on the channel, it will probably make you think of a yawn, and there, I've said the word yawn, half of you are probably yawning. And if you did, please let me know in the comments, okay? So we have a nice tall mouth. That is part one. The next thing you're going to do is you're just going to relax your abdominal muscles, and all this is before you start breathing, okay? Mouth open, relax the abdomen, and you'll get this sort of oof, and then breathe. Okay, I'll just run through that again, and if you can, do it with me. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to exhale and just hold your lungs still before you breathe, okay? So you can breathe all the way out. You'll need to resist breathing in while you open your mouth, relax your abdominal muscles, and then you allow the air to flow down to fill your lungs, and that will just push your abdomen out, and you just let the air fill you up. There's nothing more to it. You just let the air fill up. By relaxing your abdominal muscles and by pulling down with your diaphragm, you'll create low pressure inside your lungs, which will just pull in all the air around you, and you'll be lovely and full. So let's try that, okay? And we'll do a few of these, and remember, if it doesn't work first couple of times, just keep trying, okay? So first of all, make sure we're standing up nice and tall, put your feet and shoulders width apart. Now, can I ask you to breathe out for me? Make your mouth tall, relax your abdomen, and lovely. And now we blow the air out. Let's try that again. Tall mouth, relax, and splendid. And now we blow one more time. One more of those. Breathe all the way out, tall mouth, relax the abdomen, and blow. Well done, everybody. Fantastic job. Just breathe normally for me now. Just roll your shoulders around, roll your neck around a little bit. Take a couple of nice deep breaths and relax for me. Splendid job. So if you can practice that technique for me, don't worry too much about deliberately breathing like that before you sing at this stage. This is just something I want you to practice in isolation, and I'll add some more techniques as we go ahead. Thanks very much for joining me. See you next time.